Yeah, thank you very much, Eunice. I appreciate that introduction. And thank you everyone for joining me today. I really appreciate you coming, and I'm happy to talk to you a little bit more about document security, specifically form data security on your campuses, and how you can do this, or you can collect this information at a larger scale. So yeah, just quick introduction. My name is Daniel Godfrey. I'm a technical marketing engineer at Foxit Education. Foxit Software is a PDF editor and eSign solution company, and I work on our education team for the purpose of spreading our name in education a little bit, and helping schools and universities address the technological issues that they come up with in terms of documents, e-signatures, and other data protection services that they might need for protecting their students from hackers and other bad actors in cybersecurity. So let me go. Did I said so? Just a quick agenda for what we're going to go over today. I'm just going to do a little bit of an introduction into the topic of document security and data collection. We're also going to go over collecting data on and off campuses, and the different ways that schools are currently collecting data, and the ways in which they could improve these processes for not only security but also efficiency. Adopting new technologies on campus can be difficult, and the old ways of doing things often stick around for longer than they should. I wanted to go over a little bit today about new ways of collecting form data, which are very important, especially in universities that have a lot of students that are putting in requests to different departments or teachers. A lot of these documents have private information of the students that the universities are required to protect. So we're going to go over how these more kind of complicated networks of teachers and computers and students can all work in an ecosystem where they're being protected, and also having their needs met efficiently. We're going to go into a little bit for eSign in education. So the point of this whole webinar is to show that eSign is a perfect technology to use for collecting data for multiple reasons. One of the biggest ones being security. Is one of the most secure ways in which to verify identification and collect information from users. We're also going to go over a demo of Foxit Sign. So we're going to get a chance to look at how to actually collect information at large scales using some of our more advanced features that are available to enterprise level universities and schools. So we're going to go over bulk signature requests. So that's the way in which you can actually request signatures or review documents from large amounts of your faculty or students. So this is for like directly targeting people that need to finish up a document. So these might be for required documents for medical reasons, or for required information that you need for onboarding new faculty, or admissions for students. A lot of different aspects there. We're also going to go over online forms with eSign templates. So we're going to take a look at how to create online forms. It's a growing way in which people collect data from large groups of people. You can create a form that can be easily accessible from web browsers and don't require documents to be downloaded and things like that. So it's been a major improvement in document collection, but there are some downsides to online forms from other services. We're going to go over how eSign online forms really provide a lot of the tools that you're going to need for scaling these operations. We're also going to go into form data extraction, so how you can actually extract the data from these forms. It's one of the most important aspects of this. Collecting the form for authorization purposes is great, but also sometimes you're going to need to actually analyze that data, extract it from the online services you have, or from the documents that you're collecting, and do something else with that data and put it to a new database or something like that, or analyze it in some way. So we're going to go over those tools in our Foxit Sign service, and give you a chance to ask some questions as well. So if you have any burning questions about e-signatures, data collection of students, requirements on you for data access prevention from third parties, all these things, I'm happy to answer your questions. But Again, just a quick introduction to me again. Yeah, like I said, I am a technical marketing engineer at Foxit Education. So I work directly with schools to deploy Foxit PDF editor solutions and eSign solutions. So I spend a lot of time talking to schools and universities about how they are currently using documents and e-signatures on their campus and the ways in which they can improve them. And we definitely hear a lot of different answers to these to the questions we ask. Schools have, developed a lot of their own workflows that are required to efficiently collect information on their campus, which can be difficult because a lot of campuses can be heavily decentralized. Have multiple locations on campus, and then of course with COVID-19 and distance learning, there have been a lot of new complications in the mix at schools and universities who are trying to update their workflows from paper documents to completely online resources. I work with these schools to try to update their services and apply our tools and solutions to their issues. We also provide training for on Foxit PDF editor products to schools and universities. So we actually work with schools to design, custom training modules in a way for their teachers or students to use our products. So that one of the hardest parts of adapting a new technology is that trying to get teachers who are already burdened with a lot of work to adapt a new solution can be difficult. So we try to bridge that gap and bring your teachers into our webinars or to our training sessions and show them one-on-one sometimes exactly how to use these services. So that's what I'm doing for our education team, and I'm trying to evangelize our products as much as I can. So why is protecting student data so important? There are a lot of reasons. There are obviously ethical reasons of trying to protect your students from hackers and from dangerous black hat hackers trying to find information and use it for scams and online crimes. But there's also legal requirements for the protection of student data and user data. FERPA and PPRA are two laws that require schools to protect students' information, specifically personally identifiable information, or PII. That might come up a couple of times in this webinar. That is information that can be used to identify an individual. So these things are like names, email addresses, phone numbers, characteristics about students. So if you're actually collecting any information about the the age, gender, any information that you're collecting on students is personally identifiable information and can be used by hackers to target them directly for scams and try to extract money or information from them. These are things we definitely want to avoid, but of course being within the legal compliance is one of the most important aspects of this. So some of the requirements that these laws have are things like reasonable record retention. So there's an expectation that the schools are reasonably attempting to record or retain records that they receive from students. The reason this is because students have the ability to request that information. If you are not implementing a very robust document workflow system that tracks and archives the forms that you're collecting from students, you can find yourself actually in breach of these laws and in violation of them, and they do actually come with penalties. You want to avoid that. Another requirement is data destruction. So this is kind of the opposite of the retention. You're also expected to be able to destroy the documents. That does have a similar problem of needing to actually know where the documents are held and who has access to those documents. A lot of document workflows don't necessarily account for this when you're emailing documents and things like that, or using paper documents. Sometimes things get lost. Having things in centralized locations really helps you with retention and with the destruction of data, because you know where it is, and you can create an agreement with a third-party company on how to properly dispose of private information. Yeah, so a lot of great reasons to protect data. Nowadays, again, there's more and more actors out there trying to take advantage of systems that they see are flawed or need of greater protections. Actually, it looks like we have a question. Let me stop right here for a second. Does Foxit partner with NERComp for licensing? Yes, I believe for licensing. I'm actually gonna have to look that up. I know we do have a relationship with NERComp, but I'm gonna have to get the specifics of our licensing agreement. But yeah, thank you for the question. All right, let me move on here. All right. You can also ask your questions in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll try to get to them as we go along here. Right. So what common documents contain personal information? Many documents that you're going to be collecting from students are going to have some form of personal information. Again, that information is anything from a name to identifiable information about that person, anything characteristics wise about them, addresses, emails. So nowadays, many forms, if not all the forms that you're going to be collecting from students are going to have some pieces of these information. So these might be admissions and enrollment. So directly when the students first enroll or are admitted to your school, they're handing over large amounts of information that you will need to not only have access to for data processing and putting into databases, but you'll also need to track this information for deletion at some point. Other forms, request forms. So a lot of schools put the burden of printing out and kind of transmitting forms to teachers or department leads, things like that. They will have to often print out a paper form, sign it, and get it in multiple signatures from multiple heads of departments, things like that. So these are all filled with personal information, often again names, addresses, things like that. The process of collecting these forms is often up to the student to kind of figure out, and doesn't always have a great workflow, and takes a lot of processing time. So request forms is going to be a common one, and it's very much often driven by the student's ability to kind of figure out those systems. Onboarding, not only for students but also for faculty. You also do have requirements for the protection of faculty information. One thing that adopting an eSign solution definitely provides you is a single place where you're going to keep both student information and faculty information. So a lot of systems are kind of built for student use and are very very useful for that. The interfaces are simple and students can understand them. But when you're also trying to track your faculty information, those online systems and services like LMS systems and things like that aren't necessarily designed for doing both tasks. So an eSign solution, is more generalized and allows you to kind of track, not just onboarding, but vendor information, and the agreements with third parties, as well as student documents. And so it can all be housed in one location and tracked, the same way. All right. So how are schools collecting data today? So this is, where a lot of the problem comes with. There are many ways in which you are collecting student information on campuses, and they are not necessarily always, uniform. A lot of schools will have multiple ways in which they collect data and information. So paper form submission is obviously one of the most common ones, especially when we're talking about student forms. So, things that they're filling out for new classes or, access rights to certain buildings or anything like this. There are pros to it. They are secure from hackers, because it's completely offline. So that's obviously a pro. No training required. Everyone mostly knows how to print out a form and sign it. Easy to do. But there are definitely costs to paper forms. They're costly in terms of on the environment, on resources, on time. It takes about 10 to 20 times as long to print out a paper form and get it signed personally than it does to e-sign a document. It requires digital transformation. So if you want to do anything with the information from that document, you're going to need to digitize it in some way, and that could be very difficult if you're working with handwriting, since that needs some form of translation. So you're going to have to do that by hand or personally, or find a AI solution that can transform handwriting, which is not easy to find. Time consuming deletion process. So you're going to have to track all these documents for the retention requirements, but also for eventually destroying the documents. You're going to need to have some system to do that. Normally that implies hiring a service for large document deletion. That's something that can be easily done by a database. It's simple to delete documents on the cloud, assuming you have the proper agreement with your third-party vendor. So saving a lot of time on the deletion process as well. Email submission is another form of pretty commonly used form collection. Another situation where there are pros. It's ubiquitous. Everyone uses email. Everyone knows how to use email. It's very fast. It's a fast form of communication, and you can send exactly who you need to get it to instantly. You're not walking to their office or anything. Cons: complicates document history. So every time you send an email, they're often creating a new instance of that document, and those documents do need to be deleted and destroyed. So you might be using multiple services. The creation of the document might be from one service where you house it in a local system. You use your email service to send it. You might be sending it to a different email service, depending on where it's going. And then that person is going to also probably download the document onto their local system or upload it to another system where they can view it. And all of those documents need to be tracked for certain requirements for private student information. And if there is a request for the deletion of that information, you will have to go back through that transaction history and try to delete it from all those places. So it's very insecure, and it is difficult to do that kind of transaction history and go back and actually delete all the instances of where it is. Also, requests are commonly missed. People miss emails all the time. Teachers, faculty are inundated with emails and requests, and trying to organize them through your email inbox is very difficult. Online form services is another new technology that has come out to assist people with creating and collecting forms. So these forms are like Microsoft Forms, Google Forms, PowerSchool has forms, Jot Forms. So a lot of different services that are providing online form services. The pros is that they're secure. So it's an online cloud service, so they provide a lot more security and or identity verification, like two-factor authentication, so you can make sure you're getting the information from the right person. They're also pretty simple on the user side. They're a little bit more complex to set up, but for the user interface, for the signer, or for the person receiving the request, it could be quite simple. Cons, though, supporting external users can be difficult depending on the licensing. So if you are requesting or need to request or accept documents and forms from users outside of your internal system, or who have not been already authorized to accept things. So students have yet to been admitted to your campus or things like that, or faculty who are applying for jobs, or who are working tertiary responsibilities. These certain form systems might not be able to accommodate them based on the licensing, of course. Legacy form support. So a lot of these form services, you create an online form using HTML. So if you are using legacy forms, so forms that aren't convertible into HTML, obviously most aren't, so like PDF forms, and you need those forms to be filled out, then there's going to have to be another step in the process where you translate these online forms to the actual physical PDF forms, or not physical, but digital PDF forms that you're going to actually have to submit. So that's an extra step they're going to have to take care of. Also, bulk operations for many users aren't often in these online form services, where you might want to send requests to specific people with specific instructions, and a lot of the form services aren't really set up for this. So The service that really has everything you're looking for is e-signatures. It has the safety, it has the protections, it has the security, it has identity verifications. It has legal backing. So there are actual acts of Congress that have set up the guidelines for the legality behind e-signatures. So compared to online forms, which are more or less just a fancy way to collect data, those can't really necessarily bring that into court and say it's officially backed or anything like that. So in cases where someone might have a disagreement about whether or not something was properly submitted, these e-signatures really help protect you and guarantee that your workflows are up to the requirements and compliances. All right. So why is e-signature best solution? Again, the reasons I said, including improving productivity. So of course, e-signature is going to save you a lot of time, especially compared to printing out actual documents and bringing them into an office and having them signed, especially when you have multiple, reviewers or signatures required. You're going to lose a lot of productivity time. Trackable document history is another great reason, not only for the fact that some cases, require a trackable document history for like very important things, very important documents that, require legal attention. But also, again, for when you are required to delete your documents, it's very good to see who has had access to that document and where that document is currently stored. So with an e-signature solution, that document is stored inside the databases for the e-signature solution. There really shouldn't be a reason why anyone would need to download a document for editing purposes or anything like that. So it's easy to kind of set up workflows in which the expectations on your users is that the data remains inside of the e-signature solution. So when you need to clean up the data and delete it, it's easy to just understand it's right in that e-signature solution. Delete the data, and you've stayed compliant with the requirements. Maintain legal compliance. Of course, again, the e-signatures are protected by the eSign Act of 2000, which created a guideline for the requirements for e-signatures. So, these e-signature solutions are, again, a lot more secure legally. So, not of course, not all documents are going to need legally binding, protections. But there are many documents that are important on campuses. There are some that include private health information, especially a lot of schools, provide health services to students. Some of this information may be a little bit more sensitive than other documents like course requests and things like that. So you might need a little bit more maintain like legal compliance. So it's nice to have a solution that already has that baked in, so you don't really have to worry about finding a special solution and then trying to integrate all of your solutions into one database. All that can be complicated. It's easy when you just have a eSign solution that can do it all for you. Sorry, let me go back there. And then also for collecting and data processing. So, the ability to extract that data is very important. Again, paper data or paper forms don't allow you to, extract that data unless you're going to have someone inputting that data into a database, and that's going to be a huge time waste and just really unnecessary. So the ability to extract that data is of course important for a lot of different reasons. So why choose Foxit Sign for campus-wide data collection? So there are a lot of e-signature options. There are larger ones like DocuSign currently available, or Adobe Sign that do similar things. But Foxit Sign is really unique in a lot of ways. For preparing documents and contracts and forms and templates, we provide a really simple user interface that if you have used other services like DocuSign, you're going to be pretty familiar with it. It's not overly complicated, and we made it so users can easily pick it up if they've used other document editors. Sign documents from anywhere in seconds, of course. The ability to send documents from any device at any time is important. And the fact that Foxit not only has our e-signature solution on our browser, but you can also access it through our PDF editor on your desktop or on the browser as well. So we have a lot of different options for accessing the e-signature solution. Of course, responding to requests for data and deletion quickly. So we are FERPA compliant. So we understand the requirements for retaining and deleting data. So you could work with us much more easily to make sure that your data is deleted in those scenarios where that's necessary. We can also enable all instructors and admins to collect e-signature forms. So we have multiple different licensing models that kind of fit into the needs that you have, depending on how you send out these requests or how you collect them. If you have a centralized location where you collect all forms and process them, we have licensing that there's a lot of licensing model that kind of fits more into that workflow. But if you want to empower all of your faculty or large swaths of your faculty to be able to request their own signatures from, say, their students or from other departments or things like that, you can actually get special licenses that apply those or have that included in the license. So a lot of different options for schools to choose. Again, also we at Foxit Sign are a lot more comparatively affordable compared to options like DocuSign, which are charging large amounts of money for their services. We kind of come in as a more affordable option. Our starting enterprise level price is about $1.60 per transaction. And that's at 1,000 transaction a year. If you're looking at a much larger, upscaled, anything over like 10,000 transactions. So this is probably any school that is larger than 5,000 students. You're only looking at about $1.20 per transaction. So you're going to save a lot of money compared to DocuSign, which is often charging $3 to $4 to $5 at that level and that volume to large schools. So it's actually possible to scale this beyond just important legally binding documents. With this price, you can actually scale it to all of your document requests, and then you're gonna see a lot of time savings, a lot more efficiency, those kind of come back, those savings kind of come back to you more than you even realize. All right. So can I scale Foxit Sign for thousands of users? Yes. Again, a lot of campuses are made up of thousands of users, tens of thousands of users, and these users might be scattered, across campuses. And now with the post-COVID era where we have more hybrid courses, you might have people scattered across the country, across the world, really. So we have multiple tools that allow you to request or collect data from students and faculty. So we have bulk signature requests, which are requests for the submission of of documents from thousands of users. So each user will submit their own filled out document with its own history document history, where you can go through anyone who has seen or reviewed the document or signed the document, and when they did that. So it's very helpful for students who want to make sure that their request forms are being seen on time, as well as for administrators who want to make sure that students are submitting documents on time. You can actually send out requests for reminders to make sure that the people who have been tasked with completing a document or getting a form submitted do submit that form. It helps you keep track of your users a little bit better. Online forms are also built into our eSign solution, so you can create a online form from a PDF document. So similarly to how you would set up any fillable PDF, you can actually create a custom URL access for that document, where anyone with access to that URL from a web browser can fill out that document. So you don't necessarily need to know the email addresses or the exact people that need to sign in a request, or send out any unnecessary requests, because you can actually just post it in an email, or post it online. You actually are even able to embed the form the online form directly into your website. So if you have a specific landing page, or some form page that you want students or faculty or parents to access, you can actually embed the form directly into that page. So once they get access to that page, they can submit the form. Other tools, data abstraction. So extracting the data, again, is an important aspect that Foxit provides. So you might be collecting thousands and thousands of lines of data, and you want to if you were collecting that in the form of paper forms, that would take very, very long time to actually digitize. This, just click of a button and you automatically have that information in an Excel sheet, and you can do whatever you need to do with that and put it into another database, or save it somewhere else. But yeah, that's your data. All right. So compliance and security are another great reason why you should choose Foxit. We have some of the highest compliance standards in the industry. So of course, we are UETA and eSign Acts compliant. So our services are in compliance with the requirements of Congress, the U.S. Congress, to make eSigns legally backed. But we also have other compliances as well. We are certified. Our web services are SOC 2 Type 2 certified and compliant. So when your data is on our systems, it is being protected to one of the most highest security levels. We also are capable of accepting HIPAA, or we are HIPAA compliant, or we can actually collect private health information. So this is very important. Again, a lot of universities actually do provide health services to their students and some faculty. So they might need to actually have a higher compliance need. Having all of that in one service really helps. You don't have to spread it out into multiple services where different levels of compliance are necessary. All of that can be done in eSign. We're also PCI compliant, so that protects cardholder data information. So during transactions, you don't have to worry about any breach or anything like that for your card information. Looks like we have another question. I'm going to go to the Q&A. Okay. What is considered an envelope? Is one person filling out an online form in a single envelope? Yeah, so an envelope is the term we use to kind of define transactions of e-signatures. An envelope is a document, so you can kind of think about it as in a physical way. If you had a document that you wanted to have signed or reviewed by multiple people, you would put that in an envelope, send it to the person would sign it, send it to the next person, right? So it's the same exact idea with just digital. So one document can have multiple people signing it, but it would still be in one envelope, right? So you would even if you're passing that document along to the next person to sign, that's still just one envelope. But if you're doing bulk operations for multiple documents, so say you have one document that you need individuals to fill out with their own information and submit to you, those would each be their own individual envelopes. So the reason we do that is so that those individual transactions are trackable. If you were to put all of your documents into a single envelope, in a physical sense, that would obviously be difficult to track and archive. So the idea behind it is that we are it's basically like the idea of an actual physical envelope just digitized. So yeah, great question. We actually do have multiple licenses. Some are designed for by envelope users. So if you know exactly how many envelopes you're sending out in a year, you can buy those amount of envelopes for that year, and then you'll pull from that pool of envelopes when you send out requests, or if you have an online form and someone fills it out, that will track as an envelope as well. But we also have a per license deal, so we can actually starting in April, we're going to actually bundle our eSign solution with our PDF editor solution for education. So starting in April, any users that have a Foxit education license will also have 150 envelopes per year access. So this might work well in situations where you want to give a lot of like all of your teachers and instructors the ability to request their own envelopes, so they can, might be able to request envelopes from students and collect that information that way. Or maybe it's interdepartmental and, you need to request things from other departments, or you can do both, right? So, we have kind of all these options. So yeah, and my job is really to work with, you directly to see what your solutions need are, and kind of meet you meet you where you're at, and figure out which would works best based on your unique needs. But yeah, thank you for the question. Appreciate that. All right, back to here. All right, another great reason to use Foxit is that we are integrated into our PDF document editor solution. So as you can see right here, we are actually pulling a document directly from our desktop editor and immediately sending it off for request. So this is a great feature for anyone who is working with actually creating documents or building forms. This saves a lot of time because you don't have to convert documents, change formatting in different services. That the formatting will be the same no matter what services you're using. I know a lot of people will like to build a document in Microsoft, and then it might have to be a PDF to be a fillable form, so you have to convert it to another one. And then if you need to put it into a system for signing, they might have different standards too, which might change some of the formatting. The fact that you're doing it all in Foxit means you're gonna be secure in the formatting staying the same, and not worry about too much of changes there. Sorry. So it just creates much more simple, much more seamless workflow when you're using multiple Foxit products. All right, so let's get into the demo. Actually, looks like we got one more question. Yeah, let me stop for any more questions. Oh, looks like I can. Oh, it's the same question. Okay, never mind. If anyone does have any questions though on any of the information we talked about, happy to answer it now as we get the demo ready. Escape functions having a problem. There we go. All right, so here is our Foxit Sign, easy to log in. It's just accessible through your web browser, so you don't need any any special software or any installs or anything like that, or on premise or anything any worries like that. It's very easy to sign into. We also have a single sign-on login options, so you can actually sync your Azure Active Directory with your Foxit account, so you can enable all of your users to send out documents. We also have other integrations with educational institutions through EduGain. So if you're in the EduGain Federation, then you can log in through that. We also have login through Microsoft and Google and Facebook as well. But I'm actually just going to log in with my credentials here. All right, so first takes you directly to this page where it gives you an idea of how many envelopes you have left, so you can understand your remaining transactions left that you can perform. But it has a lot of information on the homepage. You have a breakdown of the current state of your documents, so how many you're waiting on my signature, so the documents I need to sign, how many documents are waiting on from other people, so documents other people still need to sign, drafts, and then your completed documents. So right here you have where you'd send a document for a single signature. So this might be the case of individual professors needing to get interdepartmental approval, or if they need to request things and permissions from parents or specific parents, or are doing a kind of one-off transactions, can all be done right here. When we're working in bulk though, what we're going to be really using the most is templates. So templates are documents that are usable by for different instances for different users. So obviously you set up a template to be able to reuse it and apply it to different people. So yeah, this is kind of the physical idea of printing out multiple contracts and sending them to different people, right? You're recreating the same contract. So it's very easy to get started. All you have to do is click upload. You got several options for your document management. So you have just from your desktop, We also have Dropbox, Google Drive, Box, and OneDrive. So anywhere you're keeping your documents, you can start uploading them. Mine is right here in my system here. Open it up. All right. So this is a document that it's a PDF document, and it actually has form fields already assigned. This I did by using our Foxit PDF editor. It has a tool that actually assigns form fields in the areas that it assumes that they should be. So as you can see right here, it's actually already assigned them with proper tags and everything like that. If you had a document that didn't have that, or you had not yet used that tool to automatically apply these, you can easily just grab a field right here, like a text field, and just drop it anywhere you need to drop it. And then we also have other ones as well, like checkboxes, radio buttons, drop down fields, attachment fields for attaching a document. So really any thing in a form you might need a person to complete, you can get that. And then for assigning a field, it becomes very simple. All you have to do is create a party. So right now we just have party 1. So that means that there's one person signing this document. If I needed to have multiple people, like an approver or someone to review it, I could just add somebody. So right here on this right hand panel, it's very easy. All you have to do is add party and role, or I can add myself, or I can add others. So I can just add myself. Makes it easy. It applies your contact information as the second signer. So I have me here. So we are creating a template. So this is going to go to a lot of people. So in this scenario, I would have to review all of the documents that other people fill out, since I am a signer on this document. So say we sent it to 1,000 people, I would have to approve each one of those messages. So with bulk operations, you don't always want to set yourself as a signer. Maybe sometimes you just want to have the person who's going to be filling out the document be the signer. So yeah, you just set them up there. So you can set up a role if you want. So you can you put student here just to help students understand that that's where they're supposed to be signing. And you can also set permissions on certain fields or certain users, and how they can interact with the field. So it becomes really easy to assign a field to somebody. All you have to do is to select it and then select the person. If we had multiple signers here, we could select party 2 or party 1, but we only have one, so we do that. We also have other tags for those fields, like making the tag mandatory. So if you want to document and make sure, this is also another great reason to go with an eSign solution. You want to make sure that when you get that document, you're ready to review it, you have all the information from that document. Other for email submission, paper submission, maybe even form submission, you don't have the ability to make sure that all that information is included in each field. People do miss things. So every time you miss a field, you either have to go back and contact that person who submitted it to make sure they fill it out correctly, which is just a waste of time, or the person just doesn't know why their document wasn't submitted properly and or approved. So both those scenarios are unhelpful and just waste time and effort. So doing things like setting value mandatory for the fields will make sure that you get all the information that you're looking for. You have other valuable tools too, like creating a description. So if you need a little bit more of a explanation about what to do when you actually sign that specific field, you can do that. You can set character limits, validation. So like if you want to include a specific phone number type or currency, things like that, the social security number. Again, just another way to validate the data you're getting and making sure that it's the data that you need. So yeah, once you have the document filled out to whatever degree you need it to be filled out to, all you have to do is go to send. Oh yeah, sorry, I do have to. There is a signature field. So if there's ever a signature field, you have to assign somebody to it because obviously it's an important field to make sure it's checked. So yeah, we'll do a requirement. Oh, there's another one. All right, cool. And then once you go to send, it's going to give you some options here. So a couple of the options are for enforcing signing sequence. So again, this is if you have multiple signers and you need to enforce a sequence to those. So like if there's an approval process where one person looks at it and the next person has to approve it. You can enforce that signing sequence. You can also enable it for in-person signing. So if you have, if you have a requirement that you actually validate someone's identity in person, you can actually set up these forms like that so that you can actually validate them and then, have them sign the document. But you can also put other authentication levels. So, obviously, if you're not in person, which a lot of schools are now dealing with in the post-pandemic times, there are a lot of authentications that you can apply. So you can apply email authentication, mobile two-factor authentication, phone two-factor authentication, user-defined access code, or a knowledge base authentication. So for access codes, you can create an access code that you can hand out to students. So if you want to make sure that only specific people are actually submitting documents to make sure there aren't extra submissions, you can do it that way. You also do knowledge base authentication, so you can create knowledge base questions to make sure only the right students are actually submitting it. So yeah, a lot of different ways to kind of validate and verify the signers. So right here, you can do a couple things. So for this template, we have a few options. You can just do add a person to be the student, which means it would go to one person, or we could add a list of people, or we could add a group. So groups are predefined collections of users. So let me go back really quick. Right here in our settings page, you can see our address book. So this is a complete list of all of the users we have ever sent any document to. So it'll be stored in your address book. But if you want to specifically group these users together, you can go to email groups. And here you actually create specific groups where you might want for like a class, or for a specific form. Say you only have a specific group that needs to sign up or fill out this form. You can put them in an email group, and it'll only send it to those users. So they're pretty simple to set up too. All you have to do is upload an Excel sheet. We actually provide you a download sample, or sample for download. So right here, it gives you just the kind of the basics of what information you're going to input for that group. So you also have the action add remove and things like that. But yeah, you're gonna include this information, and it can be applied to the document if need to later. So you can actually help the signer by filling in some of the information for them. So it's pretty simple to set up a group. I already have some set up though here, so I'm gonna go back to our template. All right, and that would be this one. All right, so they just every time you close the document, you're gonna have to you're required to check the document one last time to make sure that the signing is set properly. Again, that's just a requirement to make sure you're aware of the document you're looking at. Again, so we're back here at who's going to be signing this document. So we can add a group here. It gives you the list of all the groups you have. So I'm going to use my enrollment group. So this might be a group of students that are enrolling in a new course, or might have permissions, field trips, anything like that. This is just the specific group of students I need to sign this document. All right, so upload bulk file. So we could also help students out a little bit, or help our receivers out if we have information that they need. So a lot of scenarios that you might find, if you're sending out like requests for a specific amount of money or something like that, or anything specific to a user, their user ID, anything you want to provide in the form for them. So it might be information that you have, again, like the price of something that you need to let the student know that that's the price they need to pay. So it adds a layer of like dynamic input into these documents. So yeah, you can actually dynamically input for thousands and thousands of documents, rather than having to have the user know that information before filling out the document. You can do that for them. And again, we do the same thing where we give you a template file so that you can actually, let me open this one. So give you a template file so you can see the structure of the data that needs to be required. This actually even gives you the data, or sorry, the form data fields that you have input into your document. So if once you've created this, they'll give you all these. So if you have any information like email address that you just want to provide for them, or Again, money, anything you might have information on that you need to provide in this form, you can just input it into this data field, and it'll automatically be applied to the document. So yeah, just another useful, kind of bulk operation tool here. And then finally, email for review. So, you can actually use the default email, or, create a specific invitation email. You can actually set up specific email templates for certain uses. So this invitation email is a template we created specifically for invitations, but it could be other things. It could be instructional email. It could be notice email. It could be anything. You can create it yourself. So then I'll just go to send now. And then it'll give me a breakdown of who is currently viewing the document. So this is in our bulks. So it'll actually oh, there we go. It just takes a couple seconds. It'll give us a little bit of breakdown of who's received the signature request, who signed it, who shared it. Can also give us the option to send a reminder. So if we're seeing that documents aren't being filled out properly, we can remind people to make sure they do that. We can also cancel them if we realize we sent it to the wrong person. And once these users actually sign and input their information right here, all you have to do is click a button, and you can actually export that data into a Excel sheet. So, all those data fields that, we created in that document will be just uploaded to this Excel sheet right here. So yeah, it's very similar to the document that we would have uploaded if we wanted to, embed information into those documents beforehand. But yeah, so, extracting and sending out documents and then extracting the data is really just a couple clicks of a button, and really easy to set up. Another great use for bulk signatures that we're going to use the same template for is creating online forms. So you follow a very similar process where you create a template, and then you're going to go to our template section right here, and then select whatever template we want to create into an online form. So this form will be accessible for anyone we send a URL to. So this is a little bit more easy if you don't know who, again, the sender or the receiver of the document is, but they have access to a certain website or certain online portal. We can just embed it directly into there. All right, so I can go to right here just to create online form. It's going to walk us through a similar system. So you have to view the document, make sure you have proper document ready. You can also create an expiration date or a max number of envelopes. So say only 30 students need to fill this out. You can set the cap at 30 and make sure that you're not having people unnecessarily fill out documents or fill out documents later than they should. Yeah, so once you've verified that, you can actually go into display features. So you can actually have some, control over what features are being displayed, show document fields on forms. So, you can actually show the visual effect of the document. You can actually even change theme color to more match, your school's theme rather than the Foxit logo orange that we have. You can set authentication levels. So you can have the same levels of authentication, either through two-factor email authentication or mobile or knowledge base or user access codes. You get to create those, that access permissions. Signers and recipients. So this is where you're going to set up the signers. So for the only signer that's available is the student. So this is just the one person. So we still also set up a signer sequence. So if an online form, if you wanted the workflow to be someone submits an online form, then that online form goes into submission, we can still do that all through eSign, and it's all still an online form. And then finally, we have instructions. So this gives instructions to the user for when they actually, when they actually fill out, the document. So fill this out. And then we also do a success one. So, we have a follow-up message that gives a instruction on what to do after. A lot of times these documents have kind of a follow-up process. So you might want to give some information about that. All right. So once you go to submit, it gives you a couple of options to actually get this a link. Sorry, you can get a link, which is the easiest way to do it. It's just a URL. All you have to do is go to a web browser, input it, And then there you go. So you input the information. So this is the information that will track who I am. So my email address is important there because that's something that signifies who I am directly. And then submit. So this will set me, Daniel Godfrey, as the signer. All I have to do is fill out my information, make sure my signatures are applied, and applying signatures are pretty simple. You can also create new signatures if you want to have a little bit more of your own personal style on those signatures. And once you're done with that, all you do is click finish, accept, and confirm. All right, and then you get your go to school message right there for you. So yeah, it's very easy. And then once you've actually submitted these documents, you can go to your online form section. Oh, yeah, there we go. Sorry. Online forms, and actually view the document. So very similar to how we did the bulk signature request, we're given kind of a breakdown of when the documents are being signed, how many documents are ready for signature, and if there's a follow-up, if someone else needs to still sign it. And then again, have the ability to extract that data the same way we did for the other solution. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, we have the same data extraction as we did through the other one. So these are just two tools that make scaling your data collection a lot easier. It is way more simple than the other options of email or paper documents, or even creating forms through other services and systems. There are a lot of headaches and kind of shortcomings that they don't live up to. So e-signature is really the most complete solution that you can find. And right now, Foxit Sign is probably the most affordable of the current e-signature solutions. So when you're looking at scaling this to thousands and thousands of users, 10,000 users, it's really the best one you can go with. It's got the security compliances. It has, a great support team and great support systems. We have available training. We have, the most advanced tools, integrations, API. All of this is included with Foxit eSign Enterprise, and it is the best solution for general education. So I'm going to end it there. I know I got it right up to the end. If anyone has any extra questions, or if anyone is interested in kind of follow up, feel free to email me. We're also going to be following up with some free giveaways, including licenses to our PDF editor, where you can kind of check out the integration with Foxit eSign, and then you can set up a meeting with me if you want to more questions one-on-one. If you want to go over the specifics of your university and your school, or your kind of your usages of documents and e-signatures, I'd be happy to talk to you about that more. But yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone for joining me today, and I really appreciate your time. Sorry for going over just a couple minutes. But yeah, again, ask any questions to me once you get our email. Please look out for our email. You're going to get some free giveaways there. And yeah, thank you again. Thank you for your time.